5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Abyssal Underlord!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Weaver.
Dire team pick.
Timber Saw.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Remaining. Dire team ban.
No time to talk. Let's just get into a draft. It's Mad Kings versus Team Fire in the KOD League season number 4. I'm Pacing Legume, and this is it. Game number 3.
Radiant team.
So this is gonna be it. We've got a Weaver and an Underlord picked up for Fire. Mad Kings getting their Timber Saw again, as well as Eventual Spirit. Viper has been banned away by Fire, and we have no Leshrac either.
10 seconds remaining. 5
So
seconds remaining.
Mad Kings, they are not going to get the Weaver that they had in game 1, or game 2 rather, and they're still going to keep that minus armor up with Eventual Spirit, and also a little bit of tankiness with the Timber Saw, but Fire might be able to put out enough damage this time around. But last game, Mad Kings already proved that in the Underlord versus Timber Saw matchup, their Timber Saw is definitely going to be able to win that matchup most times. So perhaps Fire want to go with some different matchups this time around, to try to make sure that their Underlord has maybe somewhat of a better game. He really did have trouble getting online in the last one. He had a lot of trouble getting the
Dire team pick.
items up, but Shadow Shaman is going to be the next one from Fire, and it's also very early in the draft for that. We see some of the Peruvian teams, especially I think Atun, actually have played the Shadow Shaman mid before. Not sure exactly
5 seconds remaining.
if...
Reserve time.
Oh wait, he did. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Shadow Shaman will be the pickup for Fire, and it's really early in the draft. Some people do like to play in mid. Just the way that it looks right now, I really don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be mostly push from Fire. I would actually not be surprised if Fire go with the Jaw Ranger here. That would allow them to put the Weaver as a support, and still might be able to do a lot of damage to the Leicester. Some of these Weaver supports, and especially when they're allowed to get going early, can actually turn into some pretty high damage dealers as well. So Fire also get the OD to help them out. It seems a bit like an interesting draft. The OD definitely can output a lot of damage to the Timbersaw later in the game, and he's gonna have to face up against a Tinker here, which is kind of a strange lane because OD can still get last hits with the Astral Imprisonment, even with Tinker blinding him with the laser, and also most of the CS for OD isn't really gonna come from last hits in that lane so much, especially with the Tinker running around. So I guess Tinker could go for
5 seconds.
the laser. But he might decide to go for something else, unless he just wants to make sure that he can output some huge burst damage, in which case then he would probably go for that against OD. But we'll have to see how that matchup goes. Fire, they're really going to be level dependent early though. They absolutely have to make sure they get some kind of a good timing on the snakes for Shadow Shaman, and with him, that's going to comprise of most of their control for Mad Kings, and they have a lot of heroes that they're going to have to try to keep down. Leicester, when his rage is down, they have to make sure that he's controlled. They don't want Timbersaw zipping around the fight, and they also want to make sure that Tinker can't output his damage. So I think the OD can deal with the Timbersaw to some extent, but he's got to keep himself alive as well. It's just a big kind of web of lies. No, I'm just kidding. It's a big web of who's going to be able to counter who in this match. And how these heroes are going to interact. So Rubik and Spirit Breaker are the last bands out from the teams.
5 seconds remaining.
And Fire pretty used to how that Rubik can change the match for Mad Kings, and they'll pick up an Ogre. We see this quite a bit with the Lifestealer. Also, Lifestealer has a nice vehicle to move around the fights in with Timbersaw. So
10 seconds remaining.
hey, okay, I can pronounce things however I want. People get really upset when you pronounce things that are not like how they want them to. People get really mad at me for Ursa. They say it's called Ursa. It's Ursa Bear. He's called Ursa. I'm like, okay. Play him too. Oh my god. So this is a roaming pudge now from Fire. So don't get mad at me for calling Shadow Shaman Shadow Shaman, or other way around. Call him what I want. Doesn't really change who he is. He has an identity too, I'm sure. So Fire, they're gonna end up their lineup here. Just having a little bit of fun here, guys. Always fun casting some Dota for you, especially when we get the chance to see a game number 3 between two teams that are pretty fun to watch sometimes. So we are going to be getting into it in just a few moments. Just trying to set up the
10 seconds.
text for when the game is over.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh my god, I cannot handle when you people do stuff like that. Anyway, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but needless to say, I do read the chat quite a bit. In fact, nearly the whole game I'm reading whatever crap you guys are reading or writing there. So Please be aware that I am reading everything you say if I don't respond to it. Kind of difficult when I'm casting, but here we go. It's sheesh. You guys are gonna kill me, honestly. So here we go, game number 3. This is what it comes down to between our two teams. Shadow Shaman from Whitebeard. He puts down a sentry ward very early, but out of range of the Dire Observer. He's got another shot if he wants to do it. Is he gonna go for it? Can he do it? I don't know. We'll have to see. He's not gonna put it down just yet. He says there's not a ward over here. I didn't find it.
To battle.
So yeah, we're gonna be starting with this match. Neither team going for an aggressive play, and last time it worked out pretty badly for Fire. They nearly caught out the Weaver, but oh wow, look at that net worth. Shaman doesn't have a whole lot. That's what happens when you buy wards. Buying wards lowers your net worth. Earning something.
The battle begins.
All right. So this is it. Game number 3. Got Fluff and Stuff ready to roam. Windlace picked up for him. One shared tango. And Brink will be starting out on the mid lane. Fluff and Stuff seems to be a bit confused. He's got Dendi on his butt. It's probably the first time that Fluff and Stuff had that. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how close they are. Be interesting if Fluff and Stuff had Dendi on his butt before. Actually kind of interested to hear stories about this. So Brink, his damage is at 59 right now with Atun's at 66, so you can see how difficult this lane might be for him. At bottom TC, he's got a lot of heroes against him. Or Ogre Magi is going to be stepping up for now. Shekid's waiting in the trees as well. Neither team's really taking a lot of harass here, and TC stepping up possibly a little bit much. He's going to get the Shikuchi around. Whitebeard trying to harass around X, and the stun actually goes out on the lane in the middle. Weaver underneath the sentry ward. He's not going to get time for the Shikuchi, and that will be the first blood to Madara. So yeah, that's the first blood. Shekid just being very patient there in the trees, and I'm not sure if Fire are going to realize that there is a sentry ward right in the middle of this lane now. I'm not even sure if the Weaver was able to get into the Shikuchi before he died there. So I think that ward might just stay up. Okay, Brack's getting a little bit low. He will go for the healing salve, which gets canceled again by Sword. He's got an... Oh my lord. Another whirling death. And he manages to find the kill there. That was, I don't know, very strange. Like, obviously a misplay from Brax as he goes down again in the Underworld versus Timbersaw matchup. Doesn't really seem like he's doing too great there. Fluff and Stuff looking for the hook on the Atun, forcing him away from the mid lane, but he can't stay there forever. And eventually Atun's going to get a very nice level advantage over the OD if Pudge stays there for all that long. Look at that, how little damage the Ogre takes from Weaver. Even with the Geminate Swarm, he just sits there and says, oh, I took damage. And he'll heal that up very quickly. Now Whitebeard is going to stun Madara for a while. Lots of damage being done, and Whitebeard is going to have a bit of a difficult time getting out of this one. Madara takes a lot of damage, and eventually Whitebeard will find the kill before going down, which means that TC's in there for most of the XP. Perhaps Pudge would be a little bit more useful at bottom, but he'll be putting out the harass onto Atun, and well, there's the imprisonment as Fluff and Stuff tries to heal. Atun, he gets the health back up with healing salve. Whitebeard wants to get in here. He'll zap him. And Fluff and Stuff will walk through again. Atun is another Astral in prison. There will be a TP in by the Vengeful Spirit. Fluff and Stuff cannot really... Really? Really? That's the kind of stuff my pubs would do. It's a good thing I have a pop filter over my microphone because there'd be water all inside it right now. That was I don't know, that was just not any kind of communication at all. He was just like, oh, it was almost like Whitebeard told him, he was like, I'm gonna walk in front of your hook right now. Ah, what? I don't even know. Well, in any case, we're going to have the wraparound at bottom. Not scouted out by the Ogre. Pudge coming around the side. Whitebeard on the low ground. And Pudge on the high ground. Fluff and stuff looking for something. Madara, he is going to be able to stay alive for now. And since they weren't quite able to get the Life Stealer, because of the nice positioning on Ogre Magi, they're actually okay. Finally, they do get the hook. Vengeful Spirit not really in range for anything. TC in with a lot of damage. You need some more though. Shikuchi will come through. Life Stealer being controlled on the backside of this one, and TC needs to get in for that damage. Rage will go away, but that last Geminate Swarm eventually finds a kill, and the hook in from Fluff and stuff on the money, taking down the Ogre Magi with him as well. So this. Oh my god, stop clicking on the shrines. But this tri-lane now starts to kick off a little bit more as the roaming Pudge starts to get involved on the map. Wasn't able to do so much mid. Finally he gets over to bottom, and Whitebeard, he is his friend now. Brax is still not doing great at top. He is quite a few CS behind the Timbersaw, about 10 at this point, and the Timbersaw has some more XP as well. Now Weaver, he's going to be forced to take Shikuchi away from this one. The vision is not quite there. It just has that nice little arc in the lane. So they're only seeing a little bit of where the Weaver's going invisible right now. Whitebeard going around the side. He's going to have to be very careful here, especially with the support duo coming in. He could get surrounded. There is vision of him. Oh no. Whitebeard in so much trouble. The wave of terror comes through. Do they even need to use their stuns for it? They'll throw out both at the same time. Whitebeard trying to do the best he can to stay alive. The hook goes out on the Madara, who takes a lot of damage from this one. The bugs will be following him down. TC wants to come through. He'll go in for the Shikuchi, and he manages to find the kill onto the Life Stealer. Now Sheket in some trouble as well. Fluff and stuff. He will be the one in front with the hook. He goes for it. Check it. Oh, okay. That is how it goes, and TC will get hit by another stun. Fluff and stuff, can they get in range for this one? They need him a bit further, but Fluff and stuff doesn't have enough mana for another hook, so that is the second time that Fluff and stuff has hooked his own teammate. I'm starting to think that it's a personal problem. Madara inside the jungle right now as the lane is not really working too well for him. Taking 3 deaths already. Now he's gonna get held in place. The rot going there as well. Lots of illusions will make things complicated for Fluff and stuff as they try to turn it around. He's got the hook available, throws it out to the Mr. X. Brink is here with some damage as well. TC wants to chase this down, but they've found someone else, and the Vengeful Spirit is a little bit safer. Astral Imprisonment will secure the kill, and that bug will also keep wriggling as the Astral Imprisonment goes on as well. So, oh, nice hook by Fluff and stuff again onto Atun. Atun might try to turn it around. Fluff and stuff being forced to stay inside the Martian Machines for a while, but Brink will be able to secure the kill. And that was Fluff and stuff taking advantage of Tinker not really doing too much on the mid lane, just being kind of complacent, which is really easy for a Pudge to take advantage of. If you really are interested, my MMR is 3.4k, and I haven't played ranked for like 5 months or something. My problem with ranked is, hold that thought. We've got Tinker doing some other things. There will be a TP over to the mid lane. I don't think he gets out of this one. Vengeful Spirit trying to go in for a stun. Atun will get the zap, and they might want to try to go for more. Meanwhile, TC finding some kills on the bottom lane. He's going to kill off the Ogre Magi as Timbersaw gets back to mid as well. So anyway, back to the MMR discussion. It seems to me like it's really not rewarding at all to play ranked, because your MMR goes up so slowly. I'm not actually going to get to play with good players for a while. You're probably going to think that I'm a scrub, but I play a different game right now. It's called Paragon, and I play a lot of it. I actually have a competitive event that I'm commentating for, starting on Friday. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll definitely tweet out when I'm doing that. But I'm at 3.4k in Dota, and I probably should be a lot higher if I actually played ranked, but I don't. So there you have it. 0.4k scrub commentating a bunch of 2ks. TC is going to get found out, but he's got the Shikuchi to move around. And this push can continue at bottom. TC doesn't really want to stay here all that much, and he's actually directly underneath the sentry ward. Luckily, Mad Kings were not far enough ahead to take advantage of it. TC wants to move forward. He's got the swarm. Anyway, what was OD Pixel when he started commentating? Probably like a 2.5k scrub or something. I don't know. Probably played more than me though. Sun goes out on the TC. He's still got the Shikuchi to go away, but the tower will be killed off by Madara. Meanwhile, at top, we've got Fluff and Stuff and Brax trying to make some kind of rotation onto the Ogre Magi. There's a hook! They found it! Firestone will go down as well. Ogre Magi caught in. Fluff and Stuff with the Opa Dendi. So, wow. Fluff and Stuff on the money with the hook again. And we'll see how many more Fluff and Stuff is able to hit here. Whitebeard's still at level 4, looking for some levels to get up to level 6, where we can really start to see Fire get started here. Starting the Fire. We didn't start it. Whitebeard ready for some control on the sword. We'll see how long they want to keep him here, because the rest of Mad Kings are showing up. Oh, they can't get the hook of the OD out. They can't save him. Now sword in the middle of 3 heroes. He's going to try to back away. The Hex does come out from Whitebeard. They'll keep him there for a little bit longer, and the stun isn't really available for Whitebeard. They get the Rot right next to him. Fluff and Stuff misses the hook, and now Weaver's taking a lot of damage as well. Forced to use a time lapse, and he's got still a lot of damage. Goes underneath the tower. Will not be hit by the Timber Chain through. Checkid wants to get the stun. He's got it up in 1 second, but there isn't really so much for Mad Kings there anymore. And Brax has completed the buckler at least, as we have some more kills on the mid lane. TC finds XX finds Fluff and Stuff, and Brax is here to do some more damage as well. Sword, he is ready to keep hanging out on the mid lane, because it seems like there's a lot of heroes here, and a lot of heroes mean that Timbersaw is going to do a ton of damage. Let's keep moving forward, being very tanky, but he's got to always be careful against the OZ. Luckily for him, Brink only has 1 level into the Arcane Orb, so Sword's not really going to take so much damage right now. So, right now, Mad Kings, they are trying to stay out of trouble. I have no idea why we're still looking at last hits. Somehow, actually, though, Underworld was at the top right next to the Lifestealer, but the net worth tells a little bit of a different story. So, Whitebeard, he's getting scared out a little bit by X. There's no vision of the Ogre Magi. He's just out of it right now. There's a Radiant Observer right there. Checkid's coming through. He's got the stun available. He's right in the middle of 3 heroes. He's going to get hooked in. Here comes Madara right out of him. Radiant's going to get used. Fluff and Stuff. He will get the Astral Imprisonment to keep himself out of trouble. As Madara gets away, Weaver's going to be into the fight as well. How much do Fire want to fight here? That Swarm is going to hit onto the Ogre Magi, and that is a 5-man gangbang from Fire. They'll take down 2 inside their own jungle, and they seem very happy to have a couple of visitors there. Maybe they are able to turn this into tier 1 push, but the thing is, without the wards, which they do have right now, they don't really push all that well, so they need to get their Shadow Shaman, see I said it there, I hope you're happy, up to a tower, and with a little bit of space so that he can push this in, but he seems to be not really wanting to be around the rest of his team right now. Now he does pick up the Arcane Boots, uses a ton of knowledge, and TC coming in. Wants to get some damage out into Madara, but he's always got to be careful of heroes that might be behind him. Timbersaw is behind him right now. Not as much control. Oh, there's a chakram. TC will get away from the sword. That tower is rather big with the Bloodlust as a couple of heroes try to kill it. Shadow Shaman, he's in the middle of the lane. They need to find the correct circumstances for them to get the snakes off. Firestorm pushing out the creeps, and Whitebeard, he's not going to deny the rune. The word, rather. Here's the hook out onto the Timbersaw, but that's not really who Fire want to have here. He's very difficult to kill, and he's already got the Put of Defiance on himself. Hook is going to be off the mark on everything. And if we look at our net worth graph, it's pretty much even at this point. Same with XP. Teams are not even on towers. We actually have Mad Kings taking a few more than Fire right now, which means that they're not really being able to utilize these snakes at all. It's really difficult actually for them to push in these lanes. It's probably going to have to come down to winning a team fight and then taking a tower, which Fire don't really seem like they're in much shape to do right now. Maybe if they can get Fluff and stuff with another hook. He's going to walk up here. He's just not really in range for Vengeful Spirit. He's trying to stay out of danger there. While Lifestealer, he'll be having a Desolator pretty soon. Fire cannot really find the heroes that they want to take down right now. If we look at the Weaver, he's going to be having a Desolator soon as well. And he's gone for a Dragon Lance, so a little bit more survivability. There's a 3-man smoke from Fire. To see where they can go inside the dire jungle, see if they can penetrate onto the lanes a little bit. They know exactly how much they have to do. Oh no, actually they're going to go for Roshan. This is what you can use for the snakes for as well. The snakes are going to tank up some, so is the Swarm as Whitebeard. He pops the Lincolns on himself. And he'll be putting a lot of damage onto the Roshan with this one. Astral Imprison on the mid lane. Right now, Fire just trying to keep Mad Kings occupied on the map. Fluff and stuff possibly looking for the hook there. Oh, the Vengeful Spirit gets so close to the Roshan. Does she even set the illusions? And she's not going to. Puts them back over to the mid lane. That just goes to show exactly how much Fire are creating space with their heroes. And Mad Kings are going to be kicking themselves after this. And as soon as they see that Roshan goes down, TC picks up the Aegis and they're like, oh, so that's why they were going and not really doing anything on the map. Probably just thought that Weaver was randomly farming inside the jungle, but that was not the case. He'll take the Roshan, he'll take the Aegis and put it on the Weaver, getting him a little bit more gold on the way towards his Desolator. X going forward. X going to give it to the Observer. We're on the high ground. But we still have a bunch of heroes right now. I wouldn't really say that either team has gotten too huge of an advantage. Weaver really needs to get his farm. He'll be at a Desolator soon, but he hasn't really been able to get too many opportunities on the map. Over on the mid lane, Astral Imprison out onto oh, the Ogre Magi, and the timing is correct. They get the combo and they'll be able to kill off Ogre Magi with some huge damage from the OD, and this is going to continue to get, oh, I love those little sparkles. Oh my god, I could follow those around the whole match. I think I'll just stop here, guys. I'm going to actually just follow those sparkles around. Just kidding. Brax takes the tower in the bottom lane. He'll go for the Dark Ripped out. Can he actually leave? The timing will not be right for him. And Madara, already with the Desolator, does more than enough damage to kill off the Pit Ward there. Another Bloodlust out onto the tower. I'm not sure how towers can lust for blood, but apparently they do. Brink going in with the Force Staff, just taking out Axe, and now he doesn't really have the mobility to get away from this one. Slowed down by the Ignite. The TP will be very, very slow for Madara. The hook will come through. What was he doing? What was this Ogre even thinking? As, again, Ogre Magi will get hooked, and there are just some times where you have to just stop being in positions where the Pudge can get you. Sword running away from a few heroes. He has a lot of vision of it. Buff and stuff going around the side. The hook will be off the market. Sword is just able to juke that one out. Getting a lot of vision over the trees there. And alright. Eamon is going to be knocked out after he gets his snakes down. TC was already very low, and Mad King should just be able to farm these right now. Madara is going to be stepping up. He will be hit with the Pit of Malice, and he'll armor toggle through a lot of it. Armor toggle doesn't really do much when you're hitting snakes, as it takes 2 hits to kill them each anyway. Infest into the Radiant Creep, and I'm not sure that they realize which one it is. It is actually in deny range right now. Won't be for too long, but the rest of Fire, they're going in on the tower, and they have to be careful. TC still gets a kill, and they'll also get the Pit of Malice on the 3, keeping all of them there. Lots of sentries to deal with TC. He's got to get the time off, but he will be able to, as the Timber Chain did not hit, but TC goes back in. Could not get TP'd out, or hooked out. Now the Aegis gets popped. He has another Shikuchi available. He has to get away, but the magic missile again will hit. Can TC actually get away? Rockets all over the place. Can he turn invisible fast enough? The laser taking him down within 30 health. Gonna stay alive for now. And the rockets will not chase him down, so TC, he's gonna keep his life. As Whitebeard, he's got his wards up in 45 seconds. Was just pushing solo on the mid lane. Getting some XP for himself. Completely fine. Fire currently leading on the kills. Not so much on the net worth. Actually on the net worth by a little bit. It's only 1,000, so still very close there. Leicester at the top of the chart though, and he'll have a basher being built up for him. Fire will step up in the mid lane, trying to take this tower down. Easy with the Death Slayer on Weaver now built up. He wants to avoid most of that ignite damage. Don't know if it was on him anyway. And there's... oh my lord! Buffing stuff with another hook. And he's actually gonna be putting a huge amount of pain onto this ogre, who seems to be some kind of a hook magnet. Always love to call heroes that. Madara, he is still trying to farm as much as possible. He's actually built up his bash right now, but a lot of his towers are leaving away from the map. Fire are now up by 1 tower over Mad Kings, and there will be an infest into Ogre Magi. Not really the best infest targets here, but I'm not sure if it's going to matter all that much. Shakid getting over to mid, but Brink's already backed away. And... well, Brink has an idea. He actually knows that X was there. He'll go for the Hurricane Bike away. He's got a lot of trouble here. Aspen Prison will be used to prolong his life by a little bit as Fire comes from the backside, trying to kill off the Tinker, but Timbersaw just does way too much. And this Leicester also doing a lot of damage as well. Abyssal Underlord over from the backside. Whitebeard takes a lot of damage from the rockets. They'll keep coming in, relentlessly chasing him. As Atun nearly died, but he decided to go back in. Rax goes for the Dark Rift out. Is there going to be enough damage from the Leicester? And although the Underlord got stunned, he is going to be able to get away in any case. So actually 4 die from Fire there. Wasn't really the best fight at all. So that is a huge fight for Mad Kings. 3,000 gold for them. They don't really turn it into anything else. And it looks like Brink was getting way too aggressive with the OD. If he could have stayed up for that fight, you saw the amount of damage that he was doing earlier. Alright, Pudge looking for the hook, but it's out onto a Timbersaw. Not sure if it's going to be the best thing. Here comes the TPing from the backside. Brink in the middle of it all. Sword has to be very careful. This OD can absolutely tear him apart. He'll use the Astro in prison as Madara was inside the rage. Buff and stuff nearly dead. In fact, those claws of Leicester will reach. Now Leicester controlled on the high ground. Madara, okay, he was actually swapped away, but he's in the middle of the Pit of Malice. Nice Guardian Greens keeping Whitebeard alive for now. Fire need to find the damage. They'll be able to get the Astro in prison out onto the Timbersaw. Atun going forward, and actually OD getting split by the Timber Chain. TC is the only one remaining alive here, and he's trying to go into the tankiest member of Mad Kings in that Timbersaw. Mad Kings are just having fun on the Fire side of the map right now. Not really even worrying that it's not theirs. And that should be able to secure the tier 1 tower, the last one for Mad Kings. So they'll be able to keep pushing. Natsun's already got some work started at the bottom lane. Keeps going around looking at his build. It's a Blink Dagger, Boots of Travel, and Aether Lens for him. So he's working pretty well on that. And all three of the top spots on the net worth chart are filled by the cores on Mad Kings. Dual Scepter also up on Timbersaw. He's up to 20, read him, 20 Bloodstone charges. There's just been not anyone able to touch him right now. Maybe the OD can get there into the late game, but he's got to get some more survivability before he can even think about getting damage onto this Timbersaw. And still needs a lot more damage and more survivability. Maybe that Blink Dagger is going to be able to help him out. And TC, he's getting some good farm as well, but he's just not really been able to stay alive against the Timbersaw right now. Our next match is supposedly going to start in 10 minutes, but obviously we're going to be late again. In the bottom lane, Hook's going to be off the mark on the sword. He'll be able to get out for now, and that's not really something that they feel like chasing, especially the way that the Timbersaw has been handing it to them in the match so far. There's the Infest into the Vengeful Spirit again. They're trying to make this Infest work and Buff and Stuff. Alright, there's a stun out into the OD and very easily taking him out. Buff and Stuff gets the hook over, but he's only pulled the Vengeful Spirit over to him, letting them know that, yeah, the Pudge is right there. He'll try to stay alive a little bit more as Madara basically two-shots him after that ultimate. Vengeful Spirit caught out inside the ward. She's taking a lot of damage from it, and she's just going to be endlessly killed there. They'll clean up the wards. They should be able to take the entire creep wave, and they want to try to make sure that they get the tier 2 as well. TC getting away from top. Chibi's going to find him, but he doesn't have the vision or the control to be able to keep him there. Maybe if he built up the hex, but that is still a long ways off for the Tinker. Meanwhile, bottom is still happening. They don't really have the life stealer there any longer to put damage onto a tower, so this is going to be really, really slow if they keep going on to it, and they're just going to stop it for now. TPs go out into the shrine. Maybe the Timbersaw and Ogre Magi can get away. Is Ogre going to get caught out? Underwood's here, and he's not going to be able to stop him. And Fluff and Stuff arrives there way too late. Ister still moving around. He's got a little bit. He's a little bit low on health, but he's getting very close to his Assault Cuirass, which he has gotten now, halfway. Mad King's still doing well in most of these fights, and I have a feeling that the Tinker is going to get a little bit worse pretty soon. Wondering what he's actually built up his Aghanim Scepter. Could get caught out here, blinked forward by Brink, but this is going to make things really difficult, and that range creep is going to actually block the hook. But Buff and Stuff, he would have had to be really, really good with that hook in order to hit it, with the creep just dying slightly after the imprisonment. So the timing really wasn't too great for them to get the Astral Imprisonment into hook combo. And also with all the heroes from Mad King showing up, it wasn't the best opportunity. So right now what Fire are trying to do is they just want to try to catch out the Tinker, who does TP over to the lane. Whitebeard, they don't have vision of it, and they'll actually decide to go away just after they see the Tinker show up. A little bit unlucky. Timbersaw takes the aggro from the tower at bottom so that Madara can continue to just slap it. Slap it silly. Fire get what they can. They'll go into the Roshan pit and kill him off, but even then, Mad Kings still look like they have quite a bit of control of this match. Mad Kings are doing super well right now. They'll wait on the high ground, waiting where the shrine is, where generally you wouldn't want to fight the Radiant side, but they come Whitebeard gets the smoke broken. He'll blink away very quickly away from Vengeful Spirit, who couldn't get the stun off. They'll break all the trees down. They want to try to chase this one, looking for a swap, but they're not going to be even close to Enrage. Pudge coming around with the smoke. He's going to be very careful not to run into Mad Kings. But Mad Kings will push this in. Atun gets to the mid lane. We'll get caught out by the Pit of Malice. Firestorm clears out the creep wave. Marks the Machines just drop down. And Atun will keep rearming and blinking all over the map. We have a Weaver at top that might be in some trouble pretty soon. Madara ready to go in, but he doesn't really have the best control for TC. We got the swap back onto X in the river. Whitebeard will find the Vengeful Spirit. Lots of damage from Brinks. Only a couple supports here though. Do Mad Kings decide to initiate onto this anyway? TC stunned. He's not going to get a chance for the time lapse. Aegis will be popped. He's trying to get away. X nearly taken out by that bug. Mad Kings might... No, they're not going to go in on this one any further. Especially with their supports pretty much down. The gem was on the ground. They give it to the Shadow Shaman. Dara going around the side. He'll use his rage as Brink's already gotten away from him. Braxton's on the backside. Fire seems to be doing pretty well in this fight. And now the Lifesteal's been isolated from the rest of the team. They got the damage. Saves and clips coming in. Lots of intelligence for Brink in that entire thing. X nearly killed. They've got to be careful of Sword though. Buff and stuff coming in from the side. Ghost Scepter will go up. And Sword wants to get that Timber Chain away, but he's going to get it over to the side. But oh, Brink can't quite get him down. There's a Brink forward. Brink blink forward. And they'll get the Tinker as well. This is just a really unprecedented fight for Fire, honestly. Like, they were able to... They got pretty much every single condition that they needed. They isolate the Lifestealer. They get the OD putting out a huge amount of damage. They keep him alive. And then TC gets some stuff as well. Another great hook by Fluff and stuff, pulling him over to the side. And the Timbersaw has no chance of getting out of that one. Tier 2 tower to Fire. And they seem to be lit right now. Dark Rift going over towards the mid lane. They'll cancel it as the creep ended up dying. So, yeah, whatever. In any case, Mad Kings needing to they need to defend the tier 2 tower here, but they're not going to be able to get in. Blink over to the high ground by Whitebeard. That was not a very opportune one for him. Can they keep him alive? Astral and Prism will keep him there. And Vengeful Spirit will be killed off. Couple of illusions, or sorry, supports may as well be illusions at this point, right? Gonna be dead again. And Fire will be able to find the last tier 2 tower on the map. This will open up the shrines for them. So that's the first shrine going down. Looking at our net worth graph, Brink has really done quite a number on the gold. End of Minus doing pretty well for him, but he's also gotten up there as well. And Mad Kings will go and try to defend their other shrine, but that's not really needed right now. So that net worth skyrockets back to... It skyrockets back to Fire. We have a pause. They're very exciting during pauses because we get to see the heroes all stationary stuff, and I can't look at the showcase mode because that's broken. I like things being broken. I'm glad that we moved to this new version of Dota. Alright. We do get back into it. That's a little bit BM by Mad Kings not waiting for Fire to be ready, but whatever. Cares. Can take their items away. Did you know that? In Spectator mode, I can take their items away. Let's put the Blink Dagger onto TC. Let's put the Magic Stick on TC. Oh, it turned into a magic wand on him. Wow, that's like magic or something. Alright. Vengeful Spirit gets rid of the Roshan pit. It's not going to be up right now. Oh, look at that hook. It goes through the Ancients, or doesn't hit them at all. I don't know. But it's pretty clear that Mad Kings want to... Oh, Whitebeard's way too far up. Swap away by the Vengeful Spirit, but the Blinking comes from Pudge, and they'll find the Vengeful Spirit in the middle of the river. Mad Kings decide that they do not want to fight that at all. And Fluff and stuff, he's going for these blind hooks now. Blink from Brink. Wants to avoid those rockets. It's going to be really difficult to push in these waves though, especially with the Tinker throwing out the Martian machines. They're actually going to need to find the Tinker, and if they want to kill him, if they want to push this in. As stupid as that sounds, it's very true. Tinker's extremely good at delaying games, and if Fire want to push in the base at all, they pretty much have to set up a gank squad for Tinker, or at least find a way to get him down. They do have a blink on Brink, which is a good start. A Scythe of Ice would also really help there. So Mad Kings, they've lost both outer shrines for their team, and they're just going to try not to lose the Roshan right now, try to position themselves to be in a good place for it. Octane at bottom, he'll blink away. Brax takes a lot of damage from the Martian machine. Sometimes those things are just so small but do a ridiculous amount of damage. I don't even know how. They just like pinch you and stuff and it does stupid amounts of damage. So right now Mad Kings, they need to gather up whatever they have right now and try to stay alive. Brink to the high ground again, wants to keep that lane pushed out. But it's so very difficult when the Martian machines is still going through. And right now, Fire are just going with the all lanes approach where they put one hero at least in every lane, make sure that the lanes are still pushed. Blinking Sphere popped on Weaver. That's fun, I guess. That's 2100 gold. Guess now's a good time for an items check. OD will have his Scythe of Ice pretty soon. You're back down to 10 Bloodstone Trays on Timbersaw. There was a time when they were at 20 Bloodstone Trays, and Pudge will be found in the river. Shank is doing a lot of damage, but they're not really committing to this one. He'll be able to get over to the shrine. Sword is there. He'll actually need his ultimate to stay alive. There's a big pit of malice on the floor, but actually the Underworld's going to fall over. Now OD wants to get some work done. He'll pull out the Strange Eclipse, and right now Mad Kings have to stay away from that pit of malice and Serpent Surprise. TC gets back into the fight. He will put out a huge amount of damage on the Shekid. Madara going for the man fight. Brink is in a lot of trouble. BKB is still going. That Aghanim Scepter laser doing a ton of work. Madara gets into his sword. He says, "Take me, master." Keep looking for Brink a little bit. Now they'll actually go back towards the Weaver, who's already Shikuchi'd away. A little bit afraid of, or really not decisive there in who they should go for, but that was a pretty good fight for Mad Kings, catching out some Pudge. They got some Pudge there, and the fact that it was near the shrine made it seem like Fire would have been able to maybe win the fight, but it didn't really work out for them at all. Fluff and stuff, he will get the hook this time on Madara. They get him, and Brink will be able to find the killer, and they could immediately move into Roshan as well. Fire get into the pit. And TC should be able to take this down rather quickly. OD wants to get in on the fun as well. He'll make his teammates take a little bit of damage, and it's that range creep. One hit by TC. You can tell that he wasn't very pleased about the range creep getting in there. Aegis is going to be down, picked up by TC. We've got this cheese on OD, and there's also the Scythe of Ice on Brink as well. No buyback. If we look at our buybacks, we do have it only on the Life Stealer and Weaver. Whitebeard's pretty close, but that's about it. Maybe the Vengeful Spirit a little bit. TC already starts with the split on the top. Brax takes a lot of damage. There'll be a swap in. I think Brax is just dead right now. But what else can Fire find? They'll get the Vengeful Spirit, so it's pretty much an even... No, it's not an even trade. Whitebeard throws in the snakes at top. And that's not Aghanim Scepter snakes or anything, but it is enough to kill a tier 3 tower. And Whitebeard turns the Timbersaw into a chicken and Fire. They'll go to the high ground. They're burning up the Timbersaw, and Brink is going to see these racks. Okay, fucking stuff again, a little bit off the mark with the Aspen Prison. Here comes the lasers. TC very low. He's got the Aegis, and it will be popped there. Whitebeard turn into a sheep again. Hook off the mark. If these hit, it's a really good fight for Fire, but Mad Kings keep the Radiant side out of the base for now. Madara doing quite a bit of damage and staying out of trouble himself, which is probably the most important part. Atun goes over and pushes in the bottom lane. We've got a Shrine still available for Fire. Fluff and Stuff and Brink go over there. Start to use that. And Mad Kings, well, we'll have an Abyssal Blade soon on Madara, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. The way these fights have been going, obviously Mad Kings can't really win a head-on fight until the Tinker gets up to a next item, and he has started on the Scythe of Vice, but he's just gone for a couple of erroneous items. Bloodstone, sure, okay, whatever. Ghost Scepter, definitely needed against COD, but it's kind of a double-edged sword there, and I feel like he's really needed the Scythe of Vice to be a little bit more aggressive. And TC moving around by himself. It's gonna have to be pretty careful. Cannot really get hit by a bash from Madara. And we have all of Mad Kings. They're trying to group up inside their own jungle. Just moving in a train. The Tinker is gonna fake out the TP to bottom. Thinking about it right now. Always has to be aware that somebody could be waiting in the trees. As finally he does TP that in. And Pudge would have been in perfect position for it. And Tinker does see him now and immediately blinks away. Astron Prison still being used to push out the mid lane. Whitebeard finds a long range checks on the Ogre Magi, but there's no follow-up from Fire, so they cannot go onto that any longer. Puff Stuff will move forward. Meanwhile, we have the initiation inside the jungle. Again, Braxton in a lot of trouble. Brink is going to be initiated on here as well. Forced to BKB and run away. Vengeful Spirit doesn't have the swap any longer as the Pit of Malice will break up the fight. Atun does find the kill outside the river. Brink in the middle of everything. He's healed back up with the cheese. He's got the Hex on Madara. Madara nearly dead. Madara dead! They've killed off the Lifestealer, and the 80 seconds on the side lane will be feeling like an eternity for him as Atun gets away from him. But TC is going to find him. Diffusal Blade is there. He's chased down by the Weaver, and he doesn't get another chance for another Ghost Scepter. Sword looking for the OD kill, who will Astral imprison himself. Sword throwing out the chakra, but it's just going to be way too short range. Blink away from the Timber Chain. Buff and Stuff missing another hook, but they'll get the Scythe of Vice out, and finally they kill off the Timbersaw. He does have buyback, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. TC and the rest of Fire, they can keep going to break the Dire base. They've already taken the melee racks in top. They can keep pushing these other lanes in. Only Ogre Magi showing up to these lanes so far to push them out. And TC already going onto a tier 3. Fluff and Stuff seems to want the hook onto the Ogre, and he will nearly find it. And it's so close, just a couple frames off. Tinker wants to keep these guys pushed out. TC was going for the melee Rex, doesn't have a whole lot of help for it. And Fluff and Stuff is there as well, but he keeps getting chased down by these Dire Creeps, and it's not really all that fun for him. Brink gets hit with the laser, will get hooked out, but that was a BKB from him. It looks like he wants to fight. He'll turn the Timbersaw into a pig. He'll get swapped in. Nice blink out. There wasn't enough damage to get him there. And now TC gonna try to work around this Astral imprisonment. Oh, force staff away by Brink. He's staying out of trouble with sword stuck on the high ground. Vengeful Spirit has killed off Pudge, but meanwhile, we've got KS inside the base. Whitebeard, he's going for some racks. He knows what the objectives are. He'll blink up in just in the nick of time. So right now, Team Fire, they are wreaking havoc inside the Dire base, but they have not got too much to go right now. So, oh, that was the nice Lotus Orb. Wow. So that was a double swap actually from Brax. They actually keep their same positions. Makes sense, right? So now we got to look at the tools that Fire need for their next push in. Like, they have been getting the pickoffs, but even then the Tinker might be able to keep the creeps out of the base. So another Shiva's Guard soon for OD. Roshan could be up in about 2 minutes. Not sure on that one. And look at the Shadow Shaman's picking up the Shadow Blade. Makes sense because Shadow is in the name. But it'll be interesting to see if he actually goes in the base and just drops down his snakes with the Shadow Blade. I kind of want to see that, just going and winning the game with it. I really love the Pitward. Gosh, the Pitward galloping animation. I really hate trying to think about this guy's name. Stupid Pitward. Because his name is whatever his name is, Underward. Let's just call him Outhouse, even though we have Outhouse Devourer over here. Let's call him Outhouse. I think that's better. In any case, Mad Kings just trying to keep their base pushed out right now. They had 2 heroes that went for Bloodstones. One's down to 7 charges, the other down to 11. But clearly those haven't been working out too well for them. We're at 45 minutes in. Whitebeard's trying to keep the lane pushed out, and he might... No, he's not going to find Atsun for now. Just a little bit off on the timing with the blink. So actually, Force Staff in for a little bit more damage. Wants to take damage from the Force Staff. Oyster is still getting some more damage. Moonshard should be next for him. Some more attack speed. And Weaver will keep that farm as well. He's got a Butterfly. Huge amount of damage from him, especially with the Geminate Swarm. And Tinker trying to keep this base pushed out with the Aghanim Scepter. Range tracks nearly dead at top. No more tier 3 towers are alive. As TC is keeping the lanes pushed out. Fluff and Stuff might be able to find a good hook here, but he kind of needs some more backup from his team, and bottom lane's gonna keep getting pushed out as well. So, Fluff and Stuff keep walking around as the Invis Pudge. Looking for the Roshan, which is not going to be up for another minute. Perhaps that is what's going to signal Fire's victory here. Keep the buybacks up for now. You don't really need net worth all that much at this point, since it doesn't really matter so much for the players. So we'll just keep up the buyback. TC and Brink have it. Atun has it. Shekid, he's got it as well. And remember, we do have another match after this one. Hopefully the players are all ready when this one gets done. If it ever gets done. We might just keep you here forever. Have the longest Dota game in history that never ends. I'm sure everybody would want to watch that. But right now, Mad Kings are keeping the lanes pushed out. There's a lot of pressure starting to mount on them. Roshan will respond right when Whitebeard wants him to, and he'll drop down the snakes for it, deciding that he doesn't really need them to go for the base. They don't really stand all that much anyway. Pretty easy for Mad Kings to kill them off. So the West Tour, I don't see the Moon Shard for him. TC will pick up the Aegis. We have another cheese on OD, and he's actually got double hammer. This is going to hurt a lot for Mad Kings if they don't take care of the OD early. If he gets a BKB off, it's probably going to be all over, especially with most of the buybacks being down. Only Tinker and Vengeful Spirit having it right now, and they are on a hunt for the Tinker. He's trying to push out bottom. They won't find him right now. Fluff and Stuff throws out the hook, but it's really going to be on the mark. We got TC's continuing to push in bottom. And well, right now Mad Kings, they're still trying to just do everything they can to stay in this game, because remember, if they lose it, they will be knocked out of the KOD League Season Mode 4. No money for them. TC finds the top racks by himself because it was already very low. Lightsteer gets turned into a sheep and will be helped away from Whitebeard. There was no other kind of initiation in from Fire. Long range hook from Pudge. They've got it onto a Timbersaw. Nice off away by Vengeful Spirit. They'll throw out the stun onto the Weaver, but Weaver is going to throw it back onto the Vengeful Spirit with the Lotus Orb. Also, Lightsteer has been caught out. They'll drop a hammer for that one, and Brink could refresh for another BKB. In fact, he already refreshed. I don't know how that worked out. Oh, his refresh orb is on cooldown. In any case, we'll get the pit of mouth out on the 2. Buyback by the Tinker, has to get back into it. Underlord gets stopped there for a couple seconds. Fluff and Stuff will pull the Ogre Magi out it again. That laser doing a lot of work. TC Lincoln's popped on himself, but these racks are all going down very quickly. That range rack nearly dead thanks to the snakes. Pudge is getting the ult off onto somebody. He will die. But Tinker's going to have the dieback, and that should be just about it. Popping the Ghost Scepter, but he'll get rewarded with a zap. It's Mega Creep for Fire, and it is Mega Ultra win for them, keeping the Weaver alive as that throne dies. That was just a sweet, sweet win for them. There were some nice hooks from Pudge, and